Image transfers are a way of getting anything that's been printed, either a laser print, a photocopy, or even something that's been printed such as newsprint, into an acrylic film. So for example, in this piece over here, I had some photocopies and I had some text that I was able to actually transfer into my acrylic medium so that I was able to build up layers of transparencies. You can use just about any type of fast-drying acrylic medium for your image transfers. Some of my favorites I have right here. There would be our Atelier regular gels, our Atelier heavy gel or impasto gel, our modeling compound, the binder medium, matte medium, satin medium, gloss medium. There's a whole host of things that you can do with these mediums, but for this particular technique, it's all about image transfers. Now, the medium I'm going to use is the binder medium, and that's one of my favorite mediums to use for this technique. Why? Because it dries quickly, and if you're an artist like me, I'm a little bit impatient because I like to see what's going to happen. The process of transferring an image is really quite simple. You take your medium, you apply it to your surface, you take whatever image you're going to transfer, you apply it face down, and you let it dry. Now, because you have to let it dry, that's why I like using a medium such as the binder medium. It's going to dry quickly. Using some of my heavier gel mediums, like my regular gels or my modeling compound or molding pastes, my impasto gels, things are going to transfer great. They're just going to take hours to dry as opposed to minutes. Okay, so I've got my image, which is a laser print. As I mentioned, you only want to really use laser prints or things that have been photocopied or things such as a newsprint. You don't want to use an inkjet print because the inkjet prints, they're water-based, and one of the steps in here is using water to remove the paper backing. If you try to do that with an inkjet print, you're going to find that your print is just going to run. So use a laser copy or a photocopy. Now, you can transfer onto just about any type of surface. What I've got here is some watercolor paper that I painted with my Atelier interactive acrylics. I did this great green color using a mixture of cobalt turquoise light hue and acrylamide yellow light. Something really nice and vibrant. And I've got this great foot image, which is in the public domain and I'm allowed to use. You want to make sure that when you transfer images that they're either photos or things that you have taken or that they're copyright free and in the public domain. So I know this image is kind of weird a foot, but I think it's going to be a good start to kind of an interesting piece. Now, I need to apply my medium to my surface. So I'm just going to pour out some binder medium. And I'm going to put this down onto my surface. And I want a fairly liberal amount. I don't want it to be so thin, but I want it to be enough onto my surface. The more that you do image transfers, the more that you'll understand and get to know exactly how much to add. This looks like it's about enough. Here we go. And so now what I want to do is that I want to take my image and I'm going to place it face down onto my surface. Then you can either use a brayer or use your hands, an old credit card at your disposal. But what you want to do is you want to get that ink into the film. So that's why I'm rubbing. Now if you were using one of the heavier mediums, such as the modeling compound or or a molding paste or impasto gel or regular gels, you can use them on their own. You could use them, mixed with some of the Atelier interactive acrylics. It's totally your choice. But those mediums definitely are going to take a little bit longer to dry, usually overnight. So I think that using a liquid medium like the binder medium is a nice way to go. Okay. One of the tips that I learned, which can be very, very helpful, is when you do an image transfer, leave a little bit of your paper sticking up. The reason I do that is because I'm going to need to pull my paper back, and if you glue it all down to your surface, it can be a little bit annoying to try and remove all that paper backing. Also, if you're transferring really detailed pieces, Obviously, use the scissors, cut into it. For this purpose, I just wanted to have a larger image to show you. And I'm rubbing because I'm trying to let this medium dry. If you can be patient and give it 15, 20 minutes, a half hour, that's great. But sometimes you can push it a little more and just see what's happening. And that's what I'm going to do. Image transfers aren't art stickers. You cannot guarantee exactly what's going to happen. You have to be open to the whole process. So here I am doing this on a video, and I'm hoping it's all going to work well. I think it will. We'll find out. Ooh, there we go. You can see that part of my image of my foot has already started to go into that medium. So what I'm doing is just removing this paper backing. Like I said, if I could just be patient a little while longer, I could probably get even better results. Now, if the transfer gods are with you and you're lucky, you'll get something like what's happening right now, where most of your paper backing comes off. But I'll tell you, having done image transfers for years, this is not often the case, so don't be surprised if this does not happen. But that's fine, because this is not the only step in the process. There's a couple more critical steps. What I'm doing is removing that paper backing, and as you can see, some of that ink already started to go into my layer of binder medium. Now what do I need to do? Now this is when I need to be patient and let it dry. Because the next step is to remove this paper backing. It's been about 15 minutes or so, and my medium is dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my water sprayer, and I'm just going to wet my paper. You can already see the image that's there. Now I just need to remove this paper. So this is when I very gently, I'm going to use my fingers. I could take a rag and just start to get that paper backing off. It usually takes about 3 to 5 times before you can actually remove all of this paper. So don't be alarmed if you think you get all the paper off, you let it dry, and then you see that kind of frosted haze again. That is totally normal. Again, if you've let enough time go by, you can be a little bit more aggressive. So in this case, I'm going to spray again, take a rag, and rub. Now if you kind of cheated a little bit and were pretty fast and wanted to see what happened, and you started to do a technique like this and started to rub off, you might find that you actually break that film and you remove some of that image. Again, that's part of the beauty of doing a technique like this, because it is not going to be perfect all the time, and you just have to be open to the whole process. But already my foot looks kind of good. I'm pretty excited about this. When I teach this technique at workshops, sometimes I get painters who want to know, when would I ever use a technique like this? Mixed media artists get it pretty instantly. But for my fine art painters, I would offer the suggestion that think about all those sketches that you do. The ones that maybe you take during breaks or in the studio, the ideas that you develop in your sketchbook. Some of those sketches, of course, will become beautiful, resolved, finished works, but some of those sketches will just, or thumbnails, will just have a liveliness about them. Think about how cool it is to take some of those and to make some photocopies of them and then put them onto your surface, whether it's a canvas, whether it's paper, whether it's a panel. You can do this technique on just about any type of well-sealed, prepared surface. And that way you can get those sketches into your painting and just have another layer. For me, I like works that are very multi-layered, that are very complex, and this is just another way of adding some visual interest to a piece. For more information on image transfers, on the binder medium, and on working with Atelier Interactive, visit our website, www.chromaonline.com.